What's up, guys? Welcome to Developing with Jay. Last year, I had some footage with Zain, and Zain is, I think, 26 now, and he's made about $500,000 in real estate in 2021. I made this interview, well, rather, we did this interview in 2021, and didn't have a chance to just give it out or upload it here. So I'm doing that right now. But a little bit about what's going to happen in this video. You're going to learn about how Zain went from $50,000 to about $500,000 on his first property, and then the tips and tricks that he uses to kind of build that net worth. I think currently he's worth about $4 million, and so we're going to see some of the tactics he used. He does get another property, and he does have different tricks, and he also has a unique strategy to acquire properties. And that's kind of how he came into his first house that he got for about $50,000. So that being said, we'll jump right into kind of what his strategy is, what he is looking to do in the future, his tips and tricks, and then how maybe you can also apply this to your life and potentially get the same results, and how to actually think about real estate and how to proceed with your own strategies, and if you ever need help, reach out to us, and we'll definitely get in touch. All right.
Hi everyone, welcome to Growth Equations, the channel where we share tips, strategies, and document our journey to help you on your entrepreneurial path. I'm your host, Jay, and to my right is Zain, my incredible co-host. Today we're going to introduce ourselves and share how we took our businesses from zero to multi-million-dollar success. But first, let's talk about why we named this channel Growth Equations. As many of you know, starting a business from scratch is no easy feat, but with determination and the right strategies, incredible growth is possible. Zain and I have experienced this firsthand. I started a Wi-Fi business, taking it from 0 to 5 million in just over a year. And Zain, on the other hand, embarked on his real estate journey and successfully grew his business from 0 to 4 million. Zain, would you like to share a bit about your real estate journey?
Sure. I started when I was like 18 years old. That is when I got my real estate license, actually. I got it about 2 months after I turned 18. I was the youngest licensed realtor in California. However, I actually did not like being a realtor. I did not like meeting people, helping them buy a property, helping them sell a property. I did not like that path. I liked the path of being the investor, pulling together the money, purchasing a property that I believe is right, based off, capitalization rate, et cetera, doing my own research, and doing my own purchases, selling them, flipping them, doing whatever it is that I want to do with them. I'm mostly into the more of purchasing properties that are in, class A, class B areas, upper class areas, and getting them at just the right price to rent them out and make that little margin. That's what I was really, really interested in, because I'm more interested in insulating the money that I pour into real estate. And I felt that finding a way to insulate the money that I have in real estate means I could always, some of you know how real estate works, you can purchase a property and then you can go ahead and get a HELOC, or you can do a cash out refinance and just purchase more and more and more and more. Then you can do 1031, and you're just finding your little portfolio now like flourishing into this this empire.
How did you acquire your first asset?
My first asset was acquired with actually using money that was set aside for me for college. Yeah. It was around $75,000.
Okay.
I used that to acquire a property out in it's in California, in Tarzana.
Yeah.
And what I did was I had like a little strategy that I created for myself when I wanted to embark on finding the first property that I wanted to purchase for myself.
What is the strategy that helped you buy your first property?
The strategy that helped me purchase the first property was I looked at areas in which, first I looked at the most kind of lucrative industries, and I realized that if I could be around an industry in which is the most lucrative industry, or one of the most lucrative industries, then I'm always going to be in this winning cycle because, again, I was always interested in renting out the properties.
What is the lucrative industry you picked then?
I picked the medical industry.
Okay.
So I was targeting hospitals. So, but the thing is, if you go around here and you look at Cedar Sinai, we live closer to Cedar Sinai. All of the real estate around Cedar Sinai Hospital is very, very, very expensive real estate. Given that yes, we are still in Los Angeles County, the real estate is very expensive. So I was like, okay, I can't go and purchase properties in which in which hospitals are already built and the prices have already adapted to the current market that is what it has become because of the hospital. So I went out and a step further, and I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at empty lots in which is owned by potential future hospital developers. And so I found this huge empty lot in Tarzana, and I kept on digging deeper and deeper and finding out who exactly owns this particular lot. I realized that it was another Cedar Sinai that owns the lot. The lot seemed big enough for another hospital to get built. It was close to the freeway. It made sense. Mm-hmm. There was no signage on it yet. Mm-hmm. The property was owned by multiple different LLCs within each other. It was like nested. But then when I realized that, I was like, okay, this is going to be my farm area. I found a property around there. Beautiful community, gated community. And then the property itself that I targeted also had to be a property in which I could value add immediately, right? If I purchased it, there's several different avenues I could take in order to add value to the property. I found a property that I like. I went immediately for it right away. 2 months later, Cedar Sinai actually put the signage up. I noticed property values go up immediately.
If you could create a formula for that, what would it be? Very short and concise.
Look for empty lots. Find out who owns the empty lots.
Okay. And
within a half a mile radius.
Okay.
Purchase the properties.
What are they looking for in those empty lots? Who? Medical field?
You're looking for hospital developers.
Got it.
Or you're looking for hospital developers, or it could even be a like rehabilitation centers, mm-hmm. et cetera, mm-hmm. Because hospital developers, they do look for very, very large lots, and sometimes you're not going to really find those in very condensed residential areas.
So you essentially want to find areas of potential future growth.
Exactly.
Through the medical company, technology, rehabilitation, something along those lines.
Exactly.
And you're banking on that.
Exactly.
For future valuations, future equity in your own asset.
Exactly. I've done it in California, and I've also been doing it in Florida.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like in the same in the tech space, mm-hmm. where you're banking on future tech products mm-hmm. to be up and coming. Like, for example, we've always had AI, but the recent breakthroughs in AI, mm-hmm. right, pushed other sectors, up. Mm-hmm. And they say, a rising tide lifts all ships.
Exactly.
And anyone in this field now is getting crazy valuations.
Yeah.
Just because people want to be in this space.
I mean, I was really surprised about your company, the Wi-Fi Connect company. You built it within a year, but I think it was by a function of also having the right people around you. You were able to push it out pretty quickly, but you found kind of a niche in which you wanted to target.
Yeah. And
you went for it right away. So very similar. It's very similar when it comes to like finding opportunities of growth.
Yeah.
I believe even in the real estate space, or even in the tech space, or even in the whatever space you really want to target, whether it be the yacht selling space or whether it be the car automotive space.
Yeah.
I feel like timing is almost everything when it comes to those.
I think timing is everything.
I think timing is everything.
I think it's more so if you follow a structured principle,
mm-hmm.
that formula
mm-hmm.
that we talked about
mm-hmm.
can get you that end result. So timing is, I'm sure, is part of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have the capital, if you don't have the resources to
mm-hmm.
deploy them,
mm-hmm.
if you don't have the right broker, whatever it may be, I don't think it gets the right result.
Mm-hmm. Now, would you say that what if you were to label it as what is the number one, like what are the top 3 things you look for in terms of like what are the top, because we're talking about equations, right? What would you say are the top 3 equations when it comes to whether it be the timing factor, whether it be the mental factor, whether it be actually having a viable product in which could be sold?
Yeah.
What do you think would be labeled as number 1? Because like in the real estate space, something that I found is I would label like timing as number 1.
Yeah.
And I would say my mental capacity, my aptitude to actually go through the process,
Okay.
and go through the rigorous process
Okay.
of dealing with people, and then dealing with very competitive sharks that have more money than me, that
Yeah.
have access to more wealth than I do.
Yeah.
I found that to be maybe, that would come into second place. And, third would probably just be just the financial constraint, which can easily be solved with, just establishing better relationships with banks. In the tech space, what would you say would be like the top three in terms of like the equations in which?
Well, I mean, I solved this a while ago. So, if your goal is cash flow, right? You need a good product. You need to be able to market well. And the last thing is, in my case, you need this good product to be able to be bought all the time. So a recurring revenue source.
Mhm.
So for Wi-Fi Connect, it was basically, do people like our product? Yes. Can we sell this to event companies in a way where they will keep wanting it month after month after month? The answer is yes. So even though it's not inherently recurring revenue, because they purchase every single month, it is recurring revenue in that light. And then and those two things, just being able, just the product being likable and being able to sell it every single month, gives you the foundation of cash flow you need to essentially be market successful. Because if you just market that afterwards, then you can have that multiplier. So for example, if you consider a good product, right? How about this? Let's say you have a bad product, right? But you market it well, and people buy it often, right? Let's put it 0.01 times 1 being able to market it well times people buying it. The result is something that's far better, far bigger than 0. But if your marketing sucks and you have the best product, it's like 1 times 0 times 1. It's still going to be 0. So you need to basically have some sort of progress in every single category for you to be successful. If any category is not doing well, aka marketing or the recurring revenue side, your end result will completely suck.
I would think the hardest, from what I'm hearing from you, would be probably the to market part. Taking a product to market. Creating a product, for a person that's inherently like an engineer, I've created products, you've created products. I think that's like almost the easy part. I think the hard part is being able to take it to market. Would you agree?
They're both equal. They're all equal. Because I've been on the side where I can create a product and I can't market it. I have to rely on external forces, like a sales team. But I've also been on the side of, we have an absolute shit product, we market it well, we get it sold, and then they want refunds, which is pretty much the same thing as not getting any sales.
Wow.
Right? So the end result is usually 0-0.
How was like when you first were rolling out Wi-Fi Connect? How many people, what percentage of people that the product was being sold to requested refunds?
Requested refunds?
Yeah, requested refunds.
0.
Okay.
Because I focused on the product. I couldn't sell at that time. So, but I had a great product, and that product is what they bought, even though I couldn't sell, right? And so even though my sales were slow, I could achieve 1 sale a month, and because they kept buying it, I could grow the company, But if it was the other way around, my product sucked, and I spent all my time selling it, I would be able to sell it, but I wouldn't be able to have the same growth as I do now.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I also was kind of overhearing you a bit, and I heard you discuss it with a couple people. You're currently going through the process of being acquired.
Yeah. So we have.
How do you feel about that?
Excited.
Yeah.
Because my goal is to totally get into real estate. It's to jump to real estate, and we have plans to kind of team up and kind of take on the beast. Getting acquired is nice at 26. It kind of lays the foundation for the next 5-10 years. And once you have one, acquisition, rather not acquisition, but once I don't recall when you sell a company under your belt, it kind of gives you insight as to how to sell another company, another company.
You kind of got a taste of that blood.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's really sweet. Yeah. So like inshallah, we'll be able to sell that for 32x multiple, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And yeah, looking forward to kind of.
That's very cool. The people who you're selling it to, Yeah, I also kind of heard you to speak about that a little bit. One of the people was like a very big player in the you know, crypto space. I believe they were one of the first guys to actually get a security approved by.
Yeah, it's one of the business development was the CEO of IMX, who if you guys don't know, is the only security-backed crypto exchange token, right?
Yeah.
So XRP is going through a lawsuit because it's not security.
Yeah.
But IMX, they spent 2.5 years fighting the battle, and they got and they got passed by the SEC to be the only token out of thousands that is a crypto digital asset and is not a security.
What does that really mean for the crypto space, though? Like, I don't know. I know a little bit about that space, but I don't really know. Like, I don't really know much about like what exactly that means for the crypto space. Whether it gets, you know, dialed in as a security or a commodity. What would you say?
Well, Gary Gensler right now is labeling almost all of crypto as a security, meaning he wants to have controlling rights. And he wants to, what he says kind of goes. The issue with that is it kind of stops innovation, right? Which is why you see a lot of crypto companies such as Ripple go overseas to Dubai, go overseas to like Turkey or Japan, whatever, to develop their tech there, right? It's just going to like stifle the U.S. innovation.
I see.
Because ultimately they want to make money off this, and crypto, the whole point of crypto is to not have anyone involved, only two parties involved.
Exactly.
Right? Like you're doing a real estate asset, you're selling real estate, right? You have to go through a broker, right?
I'm actually invested in the crypto company right now that is supposed to be, you know, soon down the line handling these types of transactions. I'm sure that you probably know about it. It's called Link. And it's the current number one oracle, and it's meant to be providing, you know, smart contracts, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm kind of like staying underneath the belt, in which I'm staying underneath the wing of the hand that's been like feeding me in terms of like real estate. I've only been investing in things that kind of also still make sense for that real estate world, and I've also been invested very heavily, and you know this, in Link. I've only been investing in Link. I've been pouring, you know, my heart out in Link, left and right. Do you think there's going to be a space? Given that Link is currently the number one oracle for you know, smart contracts, et cetera, do you think it's going to remain like kind of the underdog, or do you think it's going to remain?
It's hard to tell. I mean, cryptocurrencies are changing daily, right? But Link is a big player but here's the thing: XRP has also launched a real estate tokenization, which we were banking on in Hong Kong, and they're deploying it as we speak, right? So and Ripple has tons of money for them to for them to do a proof of concept, to actually launch it, and then also it's being used by banks everywhere, central banks specifically. So if central banks and governments are using XRP, why wouldn't they also use XRP for real estate? Yeah. I'm not saying you're invest. No one knows if Oracle, which is Link, is going to be the real estate tokenization platform, or if it's going to be XRP. But it's just good to have your kind of, you know, your money in different tokens, let's say, that are in the same industry, like real estate, to make sure you don't miss out.
Would you say like 100% of your real estate portfolio is currently in XRP, or is it split amongst the several different assets?
Not 100%, but a good size allocation is to XRP. I believe once they win this lawsuit, it's going to go up in value. Hopefully drastically.
You know, a big question a lot of people ask me is like, how I feel, you know, at this current age. I know like Andrew Tate, he was like flexing, you know, he reached $1 million by 28. And he was like talking about this like left to right. I reached $1 million by 28. Reached $1 million by 28. You know, I'm this, that. Not pouring any bad blood to Andrew Tate or anything like that, but you know, being able to have, whether in equity or in cash, multiples of that at the age of 26. I've actually been approached by a couple people, and they asked me like, how does it feel to, you know, be able to, you know, have so much financial freedom at such a young age? And to be honest, there is a level of freedom, because we hang out a lot. There's literally nothing that whatever we feel like we want to do, we just go ahead and we do it. We don't really kind of like stop and really check on a lot of things, on things that we should check, such as maybe the steak is going to cost $600 here. Maybe it's going to cost $400 to get this, or maybe it's gonna. We just kind of go ahead and we just do it, and we just live our lives. I don't really take some time to think about how it feels to be at the current state in my life financially.
It's only when you go back to the other side that
I realize what I missed out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like relationships. You don't really know what you missed out on until it's gone.
That's a way to do it. You really don't know until it's gone. You're gonna experience all this joy, and inshallah nothing happens to you. But let's say you go back to being a brokey. it would hurt. It would hurt. You would reminisce the time. You would start. For example, I've made $4 million in the last crypto bull run, and I was wearing shorts and sandals, and the nicest, and just a comfy sweater. That was my outfit every single day. I would go to expensive restaurants in shorts and sandals, and I would walk. I would be on dates in shorts and sandals. I would do everything in shorts and sandals. It wasn't until I realized, until the money kind of went away, that I realized I don't have the luxury of wearing shorts and sandals everywhere I go. It's not that you can't wear shorts and sandals. It's that can you wear shorts and sandals Monday through Friday, from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can't, because you have to go to work, and at work they don't take shorts and sandals. So you start thinking, it wasn't really about shorts and sandals. It was about your freedom.
But isn't that kind of the downfall of making a lot of money very quickly? Like, it's a difference between going from $0 to $4 or $5 million exponentially, and going from $0 to $5 million in more of like a linear pattern, where every step of the way you kind of feel the hard work that you've done, right? Because if you go to it exponentially, you don't really feel hey, I reached this pinnacle, that pinnacle. It's kind of like, no, I went from $0 to castle very quickly. So do you think that being able to do it in more of like a linear journey, I know nothing natural is really linear, but in more of this linear, slow, gradual trend, such as working on a company such as Wi-Fi Connect, growing it to then being in talks of getting acquired.
I think if the Wi-Fi Connect evaluation happened first, and I didn't have my crypto, I would have still not understood what I got. But because the crypto thing happened, where I lost $4 million, made me really reevaluate what money means. And money for me buys time and buys freedom.
You didn't buy a yacht though.
Yeah, but that also facilitates spending time with friends and family. Yeah. I realize the hardest thing to do is spend time with friends and family, because if you're always working, you're not spending time with them. And the whole point of getting money is to spend time with them. Well, you might say, oh no, it's to get a house and a boat. Well, when I had the boat, and I was the only one there because everyone else is working, I still felt lonely. You got a mega house, and you're the only one there, lonely as fuck. You have a hot girl, but she doesn't love you, just lonely as hell. So what's the point of all these things if you can't share with somebody you like? That's what I realized. So the money just facilitates the time you spend with other people. And that time you spent at 1 p.m. on a Tuesday when everyone else is working their ass off. That's something.
I feel like being able to, because you and I, we do spend a lot of time together, to hang out in the middle of the day when everyone else is really kind of like working.
Have you thought about that?
To just go out, just do our things, yada yada yada. Enjoy our lives, and then go kind of to the office whenever we feel like it, and continue working on a couple of things here and there. We always have little projects going on, like left and right. Yeah. But I haven't really like taken some time to just stop and think about that luxury of being able to just do that.
It's a luxury. Yeah. It's a luxury because people would kill for that.
Yeah.
Kill. Because who else has the freedom to do what they want, whenever they want, with who they want, have no repercussions of anything. It's only when you're working you realize how good you had it.
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Time is the most valuable thing,
I like that.
and the time you spend with people is the most valuable thing. It's not money.
I like that. I like that. I have been in a relationship.
Yeah.
And when I was in a relationship, I was in a pretty good position in my life still. I did only realize how good I had it when I didn't have the relationship.
Yeah.
There were little things that I was kind of like, I kind of miss this, or I kind of miss that. But then again, I guess the downfall of being able to kind of like be your own boss the majority of the time, you know, and earn a pretty good living for yourself is you kind of, I guess, drain down all like the sadness and the emptiness with just pouring yourself more work. And you could pour yourself so much work when you're your own boss, when you're working. You could jump into so many different projects at a single point in time where you just stop thinking about that emptiness that is inside of you. And I feel like what you're saying kind of resonated there with not being able to truly enjoy the luxuries of life, and you know earning a good income and being able to live such a free life, but you're not able to really enjoy it fully because you don't necessarily have someone there that you truly deeply love, that you want to kind of spend it with.
Absolutely.
And that's something that I think some people who've known me for a short period of time and have lived in my lifestyle for a short period of time, or even for a long period of time, they kind of, I think, look into it and like, oh, this must be like really great to do these things, to go here, to do that, and you've been there too.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes they don't realize that every person has something that is bothering them, and sometimes they're willing to do things and they're willing to live this seemingly good life on the outside because it's supposed to compensate for the emptiness that they have inside.
Yeah.
100%. And yeah, I think that what you said there kind of like really resonated with me in terms of, because I know you're also in a pretty invested relationship.
Well, yeah, that's kind of why I'm not with marriage.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of realize, but just honesty.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of realize, hey, the person that I want to be in like 30, 40, 50, 60 years, what does that person look like?
Mm-hmm.
Is that person with somebody and they're happy? Okay. What age do you have kids? Okay. Then that means, when did you get with her? Okay. And to me, when you go through, when you subtract all those numbers, 26 seems like a good year to get married, because then you have 3-4 years to hang out with her or whatever, and you can have kids.
Yeah.
And then you go through that level of your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time you're 40, your kids are 20.
Mm-hmm. Does legacy matter to you?
Yeah, of course.
Are you working like the hours that you're working and putting in all the hard work that you're putting in, so your kids or your future family doesn't necessarily go through the hardships that you went through?
No, I want them to go through hardships. I want them to go through it. But that's not why I'm doing it. Here's the thing: the person that you are today and the person that I am today is directly correlated to the amount of hardships that I went through. Mm-hmm. Directly correlated.
I like that.
Directly.
It's an equation.
Yeah, it's an equation. So like, realistically, if you have tons of money, you want to give your son or daughter the struggle, but with the safety net that you never had. You want them to go through the same exact issues.
Do you want them to know that there's a safety net?
No.
Because if they know there's a safety net,
They're not going to
work as hard.
There's a different level of pressure when there is no net.
Yeah.
And you jump off the cliff and there is no net. Whether it's physical net or imaginary, you thinking that there's no net and I have to make this work or else I die. I've been there. It gets to you.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like you just have your back against the wall, and then I just don't hear from you for like 2 months straight, 3 months straight.
Yeah.
And then you just pop out of the blue and you go for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
because life requires you to kill everything else that doesn't make it. Honestly, I don't have I have to take care of people, right? Mm-hmm. When I have to take care of people and take care of yourself, those are priorities.
Yeah.
Imagine you have kids and your kids are going through something and you need to give all your attention to it. Do you really care that your friends have to want to hang out with you for 3 times a week? Your kids are so high in priority that you don't care about your friends. You love your friends, but they're just not in comparison to the amount of effort you need to do your priority, which is your wife and kids. For me, it was, how do I get to a level where I can take care of my family, my potential wife, and to be like a good guy. That supersedes being liked, and that supersedes hanging out, and that supersedes being misunderstood, supersedes all of it. And then when I'm done doing my things and getting to normal, I'm back. Well, now we're back to a level where I want to have friends. It's something not less important. It's just one thing is that's my future.
Do you think today a lot of people are, they're looking at kind of like the Elon Musks of the world, or the Mark Cubans of the world, or they're looking at the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, and they're too focused on trying to create like a product like theirs or something similar to theirs, while not understanding that the current playing field in which we're in today is completely different than the playing field in which they started in when they had
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter actually at all, because the amount of money you need to basically change your life is nothing. And there's people working like make 120 grand a year, and they account for taxes. It's like 7.
I mean, is there a study already out there that says your happiness is only change after or your happiness is very highly unlikely to change by much after you make like $90,000 per
It's not even about the money, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the more money you make, you do gradually get happier until at a certain point it decreases. But for the average person who make, let's say, from $0 to $1 million, you're still very happy. And from $1 million to 10, you can get significantly happier.
Yeah.
Right. But in terms of, it depends on the person you're talking to. If you're at 20K a year job, let's say, and you work 8 hours a day, right? That's tied to my SaaS business with 5 or 6 clients paying me per month, and I do literally nothing. The software works itself. So I gain back 8 hours a day. Well, you work 8 hours a day. My software will work, and my 200 grand can make me. We can make the same 200 grand. My 200 grand can make me far happier than your 200 grand.
Yeah.
Because I have time.
Yeah.
On my side.
Yeah.
But it's just small things. Any person will pay you a few $100s, $1,000 a month to do a task that they find is worthy. You just gotta find that.
Yeah.
Get to 400, 500K a month. A year. You'll be happier than most millionaires. We're alive. Last check. Luck? Perfect. Recording. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, welcome to Growth Equations, where we help you master the financial scratch. 3. I have a better idea. Okay. I hate this cheesy shit. Hey guys, welcome to Growth Equations. This video today is about real estate and how people can get started in their first property, how much money it takes to get in, and kind of the myths, and we'll try to navigate how Zain got involved in real estate and how you too can also get into real estate with a small amount.
Yeah.
All right, Zain. Earlier today we were talking about how someone can get involved in real estate for what, $100,000?
Yeah. I mean, essentially, you can get into real estate with 20% down of any deal there is, right?
Yeah, but we're in California, right? So people in California, what do they have to do, right? Because is the misconception that you can only get real estate in your own state, or how do you? And if you were to get real estate elsewhere, how do you manage it, right? You mentioned Florida earlier, right? California to Florida is like 6 hours, right? How would you manage? Why would you get property in Florida? How would you manage it in Florida? And what are the risks involved in kind of living in California but having property in Florida, and like how do I stop the anxiety that someone might have, you know, in having property in a different state?
Well, when it comes to having property in a different state, in any state that's further away from you, the first method I would undergo when it comes to managing that particular property is having a management company. But you can do a couple Google searches on that, and then you could realize that, hey, having a management company might cut into my margins pretty deeply, and so it becomes unattractive to invest in that state. So the second line of attack that you have is just to realize that managing a property has all to do with your time management abilities, most of the parts. You can manage it yourself, right? You can pick the tenants yourself. You can have listings for the properties yourself on Redfin, on Zillow, on all of these third-party tenant placement websites. You can do a lot of the work yourself. And when it comes to repairs on the property, what you can do is you can also have a deal between you and a particular handyman that's in that area. And there's a ton of handymen in like Florida or in Texas or in North Carolina, wherever you want to end up investing. Most likely you're probably going to end up investing away from California, because California is not particularly the best place to invest in when it comes to people that are just getting started. We're talking about under $5 million. California's
But what does a person have to do? Like how does the person shift their brain from I can only invest in California, right, to investing in Florida? Like what? How much money should they be looking at?
I mean,
because some of my friends are like, holy shit, I can't invest in California because, dude, the freaking the entry price is just too darn high.
Well, that's a misconception, because you could invest in California depending on what your investment strategy is. Too many people look at too many other people's investment strategies and they start telling themselves that, hey, I want to follow this person's investment strategy. Too many people are in line with the herd. They're not willing to think on their own and create their own investment strategies. You have to realize your current financial position. You can't just watch a video and tell yourself, hey, my life is really related to this person's life, so I'm just going to follow what they did to get rich. You have to look at your real positioning in life and your financial structure at this current place in time, at this current framework, because an investment strategy that suits you, that's tailored to you, you will only really know. Okay, so when it comes to, for example, the first line of attack, when it comes to investing, you have to really sit with yourself and realize, what is my current financial position? How much money do I have access to? And where would I like to invest to begin with, just to get my feet wet? Okay. When you realize your current financial position, you realize that sometimes, hey, I could invest in California. I can invest really, really close by with a very limited amount of cash, maybe, right? Right. Because a lot of people are looking for something called cap rate, but you might not currently be interested in cap rate. You might not only be interested in, hey, I'm currently 25 years old. I just want to acquire as much properties as I can, even if the cap rate is 2%. 1.5%. You are making money on the equity that the tenant is paying anyways, and you are making money on the uprise of the real estate. When you look at yourself and you see that, hey, a lot of these people, you're currently, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, in your 20s, right? And you look at a lot of these very, very wealthy people in their mid-30s, their early 40s, right? You have to understand that you making this current investment today in today's present framework, at you being a 26, 27-year-old, buying a property for that has a 1% cap rate, it has a 1% cap rate today. It doesn't mean it's going to have a 1% cap rate in 10 years, right? In 10 years from now, when you're in that person's position, that property could end up having a 11% cap rate, be worth way more than what it's currently worth. You can't really predict the market that well. You really don't know what's going to happen in the 10-year, landscape. You can have a somewhat of an idea of what's going to happen based on a 100-year chart. You're going to know for a fact the property's going to go up. Yeah. Right? But if you're currently going to look at investing the same way as a 35-year-old looks at investing, where their brain has shifted right now to looking strictly at cap rates, that might not be the best current place for you right now. What's best for you right now is for you to just lock up properties and put sweat equity in them. So for just ride it.
So let's do a little math, right? So let's say, and I'm playing different scenarios. Christian, for example, one of our good friends, he's currently looking to buy real estate too, right? But and he got approved for a $400,000 house, right? He's only gonna make $800 profit, $400 profit. Is that attractive? What, like that amount doesn't seem very lucrative.
Yeah, I mean, it may not seem attractive right now, but depending on where Christian buys and what his long-term investment plan is, real estate is a long-term game. Real estate, everything in real estate has to do with long-term. Every move you make now, you're not going to feel it for the next 5 years. You're not going to feel it immediately with real estate. The only immediate thing that I felt was because of COVID. It's the fact that I purchased a property, and right when I purchased the property, COVID happened, where I thought it was gonna actually like go to shit, right? However, the complete opposite happened, where properties just got inflated so much because the government poured so much money into the economy and dropped the interest rates, right? That's not typically what happens, right? Typically, I was expecting for myself to see the benefits of this property 5 years from now, right? So Christian currently is like, this doesn't look like the best investment strategy for me. Christian's a really nice guy. He might be like, this doesn't look like the best investment strategy for me, you know, getting into real estate, making $400 a month. It's not really ideal. However, what Christian's missing out on is the potential of where that property can be when Christian is 35. You can buy this property and you can make $400 a month, and you can have your tenants live in it, and you could pay your taxes on it, and then you could use that property to cash out refi and purchase another property over the next 10 years. And by the time that Christian becomes 35, he's going to have 10 to 15 properties under his belt, in which one of them is earning him $1,500 a month, the next one's earning him $1,300 a month, the next one's earning him $1,200 a month. It's a long-term plan. Real estate is not an immediate plan where you can potentially pour money in a particular stock or security or commodity of some sort, and then you're going to see the difference happening, you know, potentially in the next 6 months time frame. It's not like that. It's not like crypto, right? It's a great long-term strategy, because what real estate is very good at doing, it's very good at insulating cash, depending on where you're investing. Don't just invest in shit places. Invest in places where people want to be.
Okay, so the question now is like, okay, let's say you're 25-year-old, right? And you have, okay, if you have $20,000, $50,000, $100,000, right? $300,000. What's the game plan at these different intervals, right? Does the game plan change? Where should we be looking at?
The game plan is relative to your current financial structure. Right now,
but give examples.
For example, if you have $25,000 in your bank account and you only have $25,000 to invest, so you're only going to really be looking at properties that are worth like what, $100,000 to $150,000 if you want to put your 20% equity in there, right? You're only going to be looking at properties that are between 100 to like 150 grand. But here's the thing, it's not to say that you're not going to find properties like that. You're just going to find smaller properties that are like that. Now, if you want to find properties that are like that in really nice areas, it's even going to become smaller and slimmer. It might require you to purchase a property in which needs a lot of sweat equity. However, the long-term strategy with that property is essentially going to stay the same at whether you had $100,000 to initially start with.
Yeah.
You're just going to be looking at a different type of property, right? But you could even get even more creative depending on what your current financial structure is, and what you're able to do is you could take your $100,000 and you could split them into 4 buckets of $25,000 each and get 4 $100,000 to $150,000 properties that you're going to put sweat equity in, right?
Will the bank let you do that?
Yeah. Most likely
they will let you cut your...
Okay. You so long as you have 20%, most likely a bank will give you the money. When you have 20% down for a particular project, especially when it comes to real estate, banks are attracted to that, right? Now they might not be willing to do it for the first 4 that you've ever gotten ever in your portfolio's life. You may want to split into 2, but that's not for the sake of the bank. That's more for the sake of you, and you're just learning how to do this. So you might want to split it up into like 50 grand to pop. You have $100,000 and get 2 decent properties, at 10-20% down, right? And then put your sweat equity in there, and then it's a long-term strategy. The thing is, like what happened with mine during COVID is the perfect storm. It's the perfect quick storm. It sped up what was supposed to happen in 7 years within a year. So what happened, and it happened quickly, and I acted on it pretty quickly, is the property value. What the plan that I had was acquire property A, give property A X amount of years to grow, take cash out refi from property A and start buying property B, and then start doing the same for properties C and D, and then get those properties C and D. Yeah, and then it grows exponentially. However, what happened was property A moved very quickly, faster than I anticipated because of COVID. So I had to match property A's speed and start looking at property B ASAP, because property A started to increase a lot in equity given that the price of real estate just, ballooned up because the interest rates went down, a lot more buyers came to the market.
For those who don't know the last episode, property A is a place in California in which in peak times
500.
How much you got it for?
I got it for 500.
And then how much did it become?
Between 750 to 800.
And he took the net and moved it to a property in Florida, and several other things happened. A tenant came in, paid the entire year in full, so he took that money and put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's just,
So
your luck is insane.
No, it's actually just moving. It's moving with the storm. Literally, it's moving with the storm. It's not standing in the way of it. And the thing is, as fast as these properties are coming, is as fast as I'm moving. If right now,
Are you not afraid of the leverage that you might, or don't you feel like you're increasing your risk?
Yeah. Well, this is something where before you go to sleep, you have to take a very good look at, and you have to realize that, sure, it may say that I have $700,000 in debt, but it also says that my properties are worth 1.8 million, right?
Yeah.
It may say that I have $1 million in debt, but now my properties are worth 2.7 million, right? That type of debt, to me, is classified as good debt. That's not really bad debt. Okay, yeah. This is real estate debt we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
This is good debt. Real estate is something everybody needs. Everybody needs a property. Everybody needs a place to stay, a place to live. It's not so bright for commercial real estate because of just the way that work has changed and it shifted to this work from home. I work as a data scientist. I work from home as well. And even the company that I work for, although they have a lot of commercial buildings, they've just been starting to sell out. They're like, we don't even want our floors that we originally had for our company. Our company had 7 floors in a building that they own. Now they only operate on 3 floors. They rented out the 4 others, right? They're getting rid of this extra dead weight,
fat.
right? The fat, because commercial real estate is a completely different ball game. There is still a lot of money to be made in commercial real estate, but I like to stay in the residential space simply because I know that people become very, very, very attached to the home in which they live in, and throughout time, people always needed homes to live in. You need a roof over your head, right? So long as you can keep acquiring this type of residential real estate, you're always going to essentially stay in business, right? The government won't. Only if the U.S. goes down, I will go down. And by the time the U.S. goes down, so many people are going to go down, right? With this type of debt in hand, $1 million, but your portfolio is worth $3 million, you're in the green, right? You're in the green, especially if your properties are generating you positive cash flow every single month, in which that's what properties are doing. Plus, they're paying off the debt. Plus, at that same token, the banks see how well managed and maintained these properties are, and then they are offering me crazy deals. They're like, hey, although the numbers out there says that the current rates are 7.4%, 6.9%, 6.5%, however, we'll give you something called a portfolio loan for 3.9%, simply because they just want to work with you, because they realize that you're a person that they can work with, you know how to manage your money correctly, you have money that's being managed by them, they will work with you. Credit unions will work with you, right? And when you have this type of relationship with these major banks, or money suppliers, essentially, right?
Right.
When you have these good relationships, they're going to also work with you at times in which things aren't so bright. The moment that COVID happened, our bank reached out to us and told us, hey, we can put you guys on a 6 months deferral period. You don't have to worry about payment. We weren't in a situation where we needed to worry about payment anyways, but the banks reached out to us and were like, we understand what's going on. We didn't need it. We didn't use it because we didn't need it, right?
Right.
And when they see that when you grow this type of relationship, they're also going to push you to keep on borrowing from them because they're able to make money. Sure, they're not going to have you borrow at the rate that the current market is going. Because you have a good relationship with them, your risk levels and your risk tolerance becomes high, and your risk level to them is low because they already know that you're able to repay whatever you need to repay, and you're just a person that they'd like to work with.
But going back to the question, okay, so you answered $25,000. What properties are you looking at? $50,000, $200,000. This was a conversation earlier, right? Like,
if you're in California, you're going to be looking at apartments and condos.
No, but I'm saying if you were looking elsewhere.
If you're looking elsewhere, you can find
like Florida, for example. What would you suggest in Florida?
In Florida,
if you're gonna shift for your money, so like a whole mansion in Florida is like 800 G's.
Depending where.
Right, but like relatively speaking, like you get a really nice house.
Yeah.
For $500,000-$300,000.
So let's classify the areas in which everybody wants to be. This is the bustling areas. This is where old money exists. This is where you're gonna see casually, Ferraris, Lamborghinis in the driveway. This is where the communities are super posh, super clean, gated most of the time. Sometimes super posh communities, not very gated, especially in Florida. We're talking about the Winter Park areas. We're talking about Windermere areas. We're talking about Clearwater, specific areas in Miami.
Okay.
Those areas, you're gonna find them in 100,000. Those areas, you're looking at 2.5 million and up. Okay. However, those are the posh everybody wants to be there. Whoever can get their hands in there, they'll even go into high levels of debt just to be there, so they can be part of the
crew.
The crew, and the crew, being part of that crew has a lot more benefits to what meets that. Being part of that crew allows you to be part of that network of people. Being part of that network of people allows you to be invited to particular fundraising events. Being part of those particular fundraising events, you realize that you are now speaking to a person who owns very large companies, who's associated with very large companies.
Drop some names.
You become...
Name drop.
Well, simply, the people who moved into my neighborhood in Winter Park, Florida, were the Currys, right? So the Currys moved in. That particular neighborhood has a neighborhood watch.
Steph Currys?
Yeah, Steph Currys. The Currys.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Currys.
Yeah. Also, Windermere, who was living in Windermere, that had a huge house, is Shaq. And he's coming back to Windermere, right? Shaquille O'Neal, huge house in Windermere.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, he had a huge house in Windermere.
You took a freaking thing and just opened up a little spot.
Yeah, I just pretty much I found the perfect lot and I just injected myself.
Yeah.
Big time in my neighborhood. I'm surrounded by the doctors and lawyers that I'm surrounded by were initially they're businessmen because they own their LLPs. The doctors own their own practice. So these guys are businessmen first and they're doctors second, right?
Got it.
And very successful doctors and lawyers, right? And these guys, it's very good to have at your disposal because you're able to be if you have a daughter and she's part of the what do you call them when they go and sell cookies and stuff, like Girl Scouts?
Girl Scouts.
Yeah. She's gonna be selling in that neighborhood. Okay, if she's in that neighborhood and everyone knows that, it's your daughter, they're gonna be buying cookies from her.
He loves cookies.
Yeah, and I like those Girl Scout cookies that they sell, and the ones that are
peanut butter.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. So in area A, right, very hard to get into. It's very wealthy, and these areas typically are unaffected by recessions because these people are not sticky for money.
Right, but I'm saying this guy's $50,000.
Right,
you can't get into area.
Here's the thing. This is what I'm talking about. Now you go into area B, right? Area B is there's some nice houses. There's a couple of people that are in there that are wealthier than the rest of the people that make you look a bit odd. In areas A, everyone has nice places, everyone has nice houses, everyone knows everyone has money, right? Areas B, it's more family oriented, W-2 working man, head of household, sometimes working wife, right? Sometimes not working wife, sometimes working man, they have a little side business going on, decent homes. You can find the range there at about $500,000, right? Yeah. And then here's where your guy comes in at $50,000. He can purchase himself his home.
Yeah.
He can purchase himself his first home being a primary home, right? For 10% down. He can even get it at 3% down. But the homes at this area B, if we're talking about Florida, come in at $500,000. So 10% of that, $50,000, he can go in.
Yeah.
He can go in and purchase a home there, right? These people are more sticky to money. So when recessions happen, bad ones happen, the charts of property values, right? In area A, where you will see over a 10-year period it's just going like this, and then all of a sudden a recession happens, and then you'll just see just like this, right? Areas B, property values are going like this, and then a recession happens, and then you'll see it going like this.
They're going down.
You're seeing it going down. In areas A, because people are less sticky to money, they're not going to sell their house just because there's a recession going on. They don't need the money they don't need to sell their house to get the money to go elsewhere. They'll just go elsewhere. They need to go elsewhere. They'll keep their house staying there, right?
Yeah.
So the property values are going to remain the same. The only reason a property values in the areas go down is if people start selling their house for a price that's less than what they previously bought it at, or less than what the market is currently growing at.
Got it.
In areas A, they don't care about that. They're not going to do that, right?
They got the $5,000, $10,000.
Yeah, they have the extra. They have the extra money to live off of for the next 3 years until the market comes back up. They don't care. Areas B, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Areas B,
It's month to month.
they're in a tough position. People can be working month to month. They're gonna need to sell out to be able to sustain their family. Probably move into a rental, do whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
And this is gonna cause the people that looked wealthier in area B to also have their property values drop. Right? That's typically where. Christian with $50,000 could come in and purchase there, and depending on how he times the market and what type of loan he has, he could still get away with it even when recessions happen.
And kind of tying the knot, it's advisable to buy the property for $300,000 because now you're not playing the long game of 10, 15, 20 years because he's 25.
Yeah.
Right? And the next 25 years, he's going to get another 50K. Right?
Oh, not even 25 years. If he plays the long game, he shouldn't even worry about the recession. If he plays the long game, real estate within a 10-year period is always bouncing back to more than what it previously was.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter where you buy, right?
But it's not the right time to buy.
Huh?
It's not the right time to
It's
buy.
always the right time to buy.
It's always.
It's always the right time to buy real estate because it's the deals that you get. It's the type of deal that you're gonna get.
Yeah.
There's always a good time to buy real estate, right?
Okay, so like if you could simplify real estate, right, to like several steps, right? So people that aren't like stuck in their head to execute, right? Like some friends you may know who's like always in their state of like, that's not the right thing. How would you just be like, boom, next, and get the property? How do you get out of your head and just buy the property?
You have to realize the end result. The end result is, could you see yourself, do you want to live the next month going through the process of purchasing a home to then live the month after that knowing that you are now the homeowner, the sole owner of property in subdivision X located on lot Y, right? If you're attracted to that idea and your mentality is there, you're not going to worry about this lengthy 1 month process for you to get the property. The lengthy 1 month process really hurts people, but it hurts people who are very sticky to money and have lots of liabilities, lots of debt that they have to deal with, right? People who are less sticky to money and want the end result and know where the end result is, don't worry about the in-between stuff. The end result is you're going to be the owner of property X, Y, and Z, right?
Yeah.
And that's what attracts me. I need to know this, that I am going to be here. And the first property is the tough one to get. But then right after that, you already know the rhythm. You're already part of it. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
So you just start flowing in that direction, right? And to be honest, I think the best decision a person can make, I know there's, Cordone Capital. Cardone Capital. He talks a lot about how he went ahead and the worst mistake he's ever done is purchase himself a property. When he was young, he should have purchased himself a multi-family home.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't think it actually matters. Just the fact that you purchase something is better than you not purchasing anything. But if you were to make a decision on what to purchase, it really depends on where you see
Is that so you can just get the taste of real estate?
It pretty much like what's his full name?
Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone. What he was going for is he wants to be a high key holder. He wants to hold the most amount of keys. So for him, it feels like the biggest mistake he's ever done is not purchasing a multifamily unit. For him to become, the first property he has isn't a multifamily unit, right? Yeah. To him, it feels like that's the biggest mistake. But to other people, their long-term financial strategy is not holding the most amount of keys.
Just have financial freedom.
Just have financial freedom. Maybe to some people, like my strategy is having the most amount of keys in the most valuable areas. Yeah. So I would rather have 10 keys in the hottest locations than 1,000 keys in any location. I would rather have 10 keys in the hottest locations than 1,000 keys in any location.
Okay.
There's a lot to manage with 1,000 keys.
Yeah.
10 keys, great locations, you're always going to be in business, right?
Yeah.
And go for it,
Right. I think that is it.